beautiful people, and welcome back or welcome to the Authentically Blue podcast. If you're new here, my name is Carlson and I am the host. This is a bonus episode. If you are a regular listener, you may be like, what is happening? She doesn't release an episode today. But in line with last week's episode on moving out, if you're moving to a new place, you may experience loneliness, or wherever you are in the world, I have some recommendations that may help. Plus, I have tips. These tips could also apply to being more confident in yourself and being alone, and even loneliness while living alone. So I hope these help. Before I dive in, I always like giving context as to where I am. The time is 4:40 p.m. I just recorded last week's episode about moving, and I have a Minute Maid in my hand. And the reason I'm saying this is because Minute Maid reposted my Instagram story on their post, on their page, which was insane to me. And I was like, oh my God, my family members were ecstatic and excited for me. My friends were excited. Those who know I want to have a sponsorship or brand deal with them. So it's coming. Epic manifestations in the works. That's a cool thing that happened. I had to share. But enough about that. I'm going to dive into my recommendations and give you guys what you want because you clicked on this episode. I hope you're all having a beautiful day and are doing well. Thank you for tuning in. Step number 1, I would say, is go outside. If you're feeling lonely or anxious or nervous or been in one place for a long time, go for a walk, go to the coffee shop, go people watch, go to the library, go to the supermarket, go to anywhere outside your house, go shop, just go window shopping, and it'll definitely help improve your mood and boost your mood and get you out of your bubble, the bubble that you're in. Number 2, I would say walking. I kind of touched on this, but I would say walking has so many benefits on your health, both physical and mental. Plus, people watching, which I'll touch on just in a moment, you get to do that while walking, and then you also experience fresh air. You can admire nature while you're outside, and it has so many benefits and effects on you walking that does wonders. So definitely give it a try if you haven't. And if you have been walking and know how it feels, or maybe stopped for a while, try picking it up and see. It may make a huge difference. On to people watching. I know I talked about this a lot in the last few seconds, but people watching is therapeutic as heck. If you don't know what people watching is going to a public place and watching the people around you, not in a creepy way. You're just kind of admiring life and seeing how people live. Not live like in the houses, but move about in public. For example, the best places I enjoy people watching is in airports, even though I don't go there often. But whenever I'm outside, I always enjoy people watching. In last week's episode, I mentioned how the whole of the last week of January, I had been taking my brothers to school, or my brother, and helping my other 2 brothers get ready. But when I take my brother to school and on my way back, I would use like public transport, especially when I was surprising my friend for her birthday last week. And on my way to her place, I had to use public transport. And when I was waiting for the matatu, a matatu is a bus, is a Kenyan bus or public form of transportation for those of you who are not from Kenya. So when I was waiting for the matatu or the bus to fill up, I was just waiting by the door, and it was interesting seeing all these people like hustle. It was early in the morning, it was like 7, 8. So I was just watching people like open up their business, moving around, the hustling and the bustling. I was like, I am such a city person. It's so insane. Even though I love country life and animals and all that jazz, I do enjoy seeing the hustle. And it was fun just watching people move around, get going, interact with each other. And it made me get out of my own thoughts and head for a moment. And I was like, wow, I wonder, like, each and every person has their own life. And it's insane how we all live on this same universe. And every single person you see has people who love them, or they care for, and their worries and their anxieties. Every single thing you're going through, they go through, and they've probably experienced the same thing you have experienced, which is insane. I can go on about people watching forever, but you get the gist. That is what people watching is. And I discovered this week actually, there's a term for this. It's called Sonda. And Sonda is the idea that there's so many different lives and different agendas and different paths and families and thoughts and experiences that happen with people, and we all just pass each other all the time. It's literally mind-boggling to me. Always has been. I think I touched on this on episode 1. I feel like I'm talking without pausing. I need to take deep breaths. 1 second. Okay, I'm back. I had to pace myself because I was getting too excited. I touched on this on episode 1 or 2, I think, when I was talking about why I'm creating this podcast, and human interaction or humans in general just fascinate me. So seeing people is one of human interactions and people, and it's something I really enjoy doing. I have been since I was young. I would literally, when I was 7 or 8 or even younger, I would look up at my mom and be like, wow, everyone has their own lives, and I'll just look at people and I was fascinated. And then as I grew older and I could put it into words, maybe not exactly how I said them a moment ago, but formulate these thoughts, I would always tell her, like, can you believe? And she'd be like, but how is that your concern? And I was like, Mom, chill out, I'm just saying. But everyone has their own different and separate interests, but human interaction has definitely been one of mine. So seeing people interact and live their own life, it reminds you that you're not alone in this world, and you're part of a huge community, or you're part of the universe. You can look at it in two ways. Either you're part of the universe, and you can either look at it as you're a part of the universe and you are important, so you're valuable and it helps you feel less lonely. Or you can look at it as it's not that deep. It's not that deep, and the world will revolve either way. So whichever one gives you comfort, go for that. And I think this point I mentioned in terms of the world will go on either way is in terms of your problems or conflict or issues you have. You just think, okay, I kind of do this sometimes and I'm really overwhelmed, or I just want to kind of calm down and tell myself, none of this is going to matter in a year. None of this is going to matter in 5 years. We're all going to die in 100 years and no one's going to remember any of this shit. So just live. So you can look at it in either context. But I suppose that doesn't really help when you're lonely. But it's something to think of. Who knows? It may help you or it may not. The other one may help you in terms of you are part of something bigger than yourself. You are part of the universe. Oh, and the word sonda, I don't think I defined it properly. I kind of gave the idea of what it is. Sonda is the profound feeling of realizing everyone, including strangers passing in the street, has a life as complex as your own, and they are constantly living it despite personal lack of awareness of it. And again, that is mind-boggling to me. So go people watch, try it out, and just whenever you're in a place, whether you're in traffic or in your car or you're going for a walk or you're home, just leave wherever you are. Whenever you find yourself in a public space, just stop and look around and think. Don't even think, just watch people and see. Oh my goodness, the kids are making so much noise outside. But I really want to record this episode and I don't have other time, so I apologize. Hopefully editing me is not frustrated by the sounds outside. I may have to re-record this, but we'll see how it works out. Okay, my next tip is FaceTime the people you love. And I actually touched on this in last week's episode, but because if you're living away from home, or even if you are living home, find ways to prioritize your relationships with people. I said it in last week's episode, if you're living away, the relationships you have with people become richer and deeper because you don't have enough time to dilly-dally. So you focus on the important things, what fulfills them, what they want to change in their life, what benefits them, what doesn't, how you can help them, how they can help you. All these important qualities of a relationship comes out with whoever, family members, friends, relationships, platonic or romantic, any situation you're in. This has a huge impact. So when you're feeling lonely, reach out to people and tell them how you're feeling and what you need from them. And don't feel like a burden whatsoever. I know from personal experience how easy it is to feel like a burden or feel like you're disturbing people. But unless someone physically tells you or you sense from someone you're being a burden, don't put pressure on yourself that's unnecessary. Like, give yourself grace. Everyone has their own strengths and their own weaknesses. Nobody's perfect. Superman isn't perfect either. It's okay. It's really okay. Next thing I would say to tackle loneliness is hobbies. I touched on this again last week. You may want to listen to both episodes. It'll give you an idea or, full circle moment kind of to get both sides. But having a hobby, whether it's things to do at home or outside, like swimming outside or dancing or finding a club so you can interact with people to feel more lonely? No, to feel less lonely is definitely beneficial. Or you can find activities you can do at home. Like, I took up knitting in December and November, and it was amazing. I finished my scarf, by the way. I think I mentioned it in last week's episode. Anyway, you can find activities like knitting, or you can find activities like cooking. Cooking is something that I grew to love enormously when I was living alone because it was a source of joy. Like, I get it when people say food brings people joy. There's so many recipes to explore and try. So therefore have a look at that. And if you ever need tips or advice on this, I am not an expert, but my DMs are always open. If you want me to clarify or need advice or want even more tips, for example, on cooking or recipes, I'm happy to provide resources. Just holla, I got you. Next, I would say is routine. It's always good to keep a routine when you're feeling low. It's always good to keep a routine all the time. But when you're feeling lonely, you may find that you're not keeping your routine as much. So what I would say is find a routine that's balanced for you. What works and what doesn't? What do you need to change? What makes you feel good? Look at these questions, answer them, and figure out how to incorporate them into your routine. Don't feel any shame about neglecting yourself during this time because you're human. And having a routine allows you to bounce back and is a distraction from this loneliness. Ways in which you can switch up your routine that I thought of or I can think of at the moment, I'm sure there's millions more. You could, for instance, switch up your workout routines. You could try a HIIT workout or Pilates or yoga, or you could do cardio or weights. Try something you've never done before. Try running or swimming or boxing. Like, figure out what you'd like to try and go for it. Plus, having a new hobby is exciting, or trying something new is exciting and reframes your mind. It reframes your mind and makes you feel less lonely. Another thing is you could change where you work out, whether you're working out in the park or the gym or your home or local places around you. Switch it up once in a while and see what works for you. It may definitely give you that groove and get you out of feeling lonely. Like I said, incorporate new hobbies, whether it's cooking, for instance, or reading, or trying something challenging, or learning something like chess. I'm kind of mentioning things that I do, but find what works for you and find things that you're interested in, and it's gonna make a huge and massive difference. Next tip I have for tackling loneliness is watching movies or entertainment in general. I am a huge... Hello, I am back. I got a phone call, so I had to pause. This from my beautiful mama. What was I talking about? Movies and entertainment, yes. So when I lived alone and the moments I would feel lonely, I would turn to TV shows and entertainment at some point to tackle or deal with the loneliness. I'm kind of a homebody, to be fair. So this comes kind of natural to me, but watching different shows and entertainment had a huge impact on me. Firstly, I would definitely add I'm sensitive to information I consume, so I have to be careful about what I consume. When I consume too much news or things that are gory, it affects me, and I have to be mindful. But watching entertainment and movies that are creative, like, would inspire me or help me feel less lonely. A show I've mentioned a lot that helped me during one of the most difficult times of my life, which wasn't necessarily loneliness, but it was grief. With loneliness entangled was One Tree Hill. I dove into that show like no man's business. If you haven't watched One Tree Hill and you've been listening to this podcast, what are you doing? Go watch One Tree Hill. I am not begging. I am begging. Go watch One Tree Hill. You're going to love it. It's amazing. The next thing I want to say is when you're living alone or feeling lonely, it's easy to fall into the trap of comparison, and we never, ever, 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 ever really know what's going on in people's lives. We may just know the highlight reel, as people like to say. You may get to see what they post on social media or how they present themselves to the world. But I promise you, you have no idea what people are going through. The grass is greener where you water it. Which pasture you decide and water and grow. That's where the grass is greener. It's not with other people. So decide your pasture and water it, and it's going to be green. Everyone's life is different. Your life isn't the same as other people's. Yes, you may be the same age or around the same age or have different things, but there's different seasons for things in life. There's seasons for making a lot of money, or there's seasons for love, and there's seasons for education, and there's seasons for health. Like, there's no point in life where everything is perfect. This I can assure you. There's no point in life where Well, to an extent, maybe you can find balance with certain things, but like if you're at a certain age and you're like earning good money, or your health is good and you're in a good relationship and your things go well, but it's never always high. There's always highs and lows. I touched on this in an episode early January. I believe it was. Let me have a look. Yes, I just found it. I believe it was episode 15 where I talked about being a work in progress. And it is so fascinating because there is a link, which I will link it down below, a TikTok or a huge video. I'm going to try and find the TikTok, but I saw the reel on Instagram, funnily enough. If you don't know what I'm talking about, there's an actor who acted this show called The Hollywood, and there's channels like, I believe it's Vogue, but Variety, all these different YouTube channels or magazines have YouTube channels that create like actors on actors or singers on singers and bring who are in the entertainment industry, and they talk about their life and experiences being in this industry. So they actually brought a group of actors, I think 6 or 7 of them, who are men, to talk about being men in the industry. And one of the men, I'm forgetting his name, but he acted in Hollywood, talked about how he was feeling extremely low, and he went to his therapist and he said, I wish life was just on the high. And his therapist, because he experienced it, his highs were really high and his lows were really his lows were really low. So he wanted to just experience the highs or kind of push one side. And the therapist informed him that if he pushes one side, it's like a heartbeat machine in the hospital. It goes up, down, up, down, up, down. If you push either side, you're going to flatline. And when I heard that, I was like, this is insane. Such an insane and amazing concept to use. But I'm going to link it down below. I don't think I gave it justice exactly how I wanted it to be, but here it is. So yeah, the trap of comparison is something so easy to fall into. So do not fall into that trap, or catch yourself and remind yourself nothing is ever as it seems. The last thing I'm going to talk about for tackling loneliness is find things you're going to look forward to, whether it's social events, trips, seeing loved ones in where you live, or traveling to see them in different places, if you can afford it, of course. Dates with partners or even friends, concerts, events, anything you can do, or even just meeting up with your friend in a park or doing things that don't necessarily cost money, but all things with your family. Find things that bring you joy and excitement that you can put on your calendar and look forward to. That is it for this week's episode. This bonus episode, should I say. I hope you enjoyed it. I also will add a follow-up on this, and I will also do a follow-up for this episode, like last episode, where I'm going to ask a bunch of my friends how they tackle loneliness when living alone, or even those who haven't moved away. And I'm going to include it. I think I'll do that as one big episode, not mini episodes. I'll do moving away tips from friends and loneliness advice. I hope you enjoyed this episode and it wasn't repetitive, or it may be what you needed to hear if you never listened to this podcast before. And I hope you have a beautiful day and week. I'll catch you next week. Goodbye.